Hi, in this video we will discuss data types in Java and few basic features of Java related to data types. So first we discuss comments. Comments are non-executable statements that are ignored by the compiler and they are used to enhance readability of your program. So single line comment starts with double slash as it is in C++, and this is how we write multiple line comments. So it is same as it is in C language. Now we come to variable. A variable is a named value holder, or it's a named memory location where we store values in our program. A variable can be declared anywhere in a Java program, but it must be declared before it is used for the first time. And you can also break a single declaration into several lines. For example, in this statement we have declared four variables: miles, furlongs, yards, feet, and we have broken this statement into four lines. And we have also inserted comments in between. Like in front of miles, I have written 1 mile is 8 furlongs, 1 furlong is 22 yards. So it is used to increase readability or understandability of your code. In front of each variable, we have written description or purpose of that variable. In Java, when you write a program, you will have to define classes, you will have to define methods, you will have to declare variables. So you will have to assign names to classes, variables and methods. For naming, there are certain rules. The name we choose for a variable is called an identifier. The name can be of any length, but it must begin with an alphabet, an underscore or a dollar sign. The rest of an identifier can include digits also, but it cannot begin with digit. Okay. Operators and spaces are not allowed in a name. You cannot use Java keywords as a name for something. Keywords are words that are part of Java language like while, if, switch, for. So you cannot use these words as a name for variable or name for a method. And Java is a case sensitive language. If I use the name max, so max in uppercase is different from max in lowercase. They will be considered two different variables. Here some of the examples of valid and invalid variable names. So first name is valid because it is beginning with alphabet and dollar and digits are allowed. Second is invalid, space is not allowed. This is invalid, plus is an operator, operators are not allowed. This is invalid, minus operator has been used, so this is invalid. This is invalid. In Java, there is a concept of annotations, and in annotations, this symbol of @ is considered as an operator. So this is invalid. This is valid, variable name can begin with dollar. This is valid, it can begin with underscore. This is invalid, variable name cannot begin with a digit. This is invalid, while is a keyword, while loop. And this is valid because in while keyword, while is in lowercase. The while entire keyword is in lowercase. And in the last example, we have written W capital. So Java is a case sensitive language, so these are two different words. So this is the keyword and this is a valid variable. If you are reading a book of Java or you are going through tutorials of Java and you encounter a name, so when you encounter a name, it should be clear to you whether it's a variable name, it's a method name or it's a class name. So to differentiate, there are certain rules that class name begins with an uppercase alphabet, variable name and method name begins with lowercase alphabet. And differences only of first alphabet. Second word onwards, first letter of each word is in uppercase. For example, here is the name employee record. So it is beginning with uppercase alphabet. So it's a class name. Name of employee in of O is capital, in employee is capital. But first alphabet is in lowercase and there is no parenthesis, so it's a variable name. In calculate salary, C is small, so it is beginning with lowercase and there are parentheses, so it's a method name. So class name begins with uppercase alphabet, variable and method name begins with lowercase alphabet. Text paid by employee. It is beginning with lowercase alphabet and there are no parentheses, so it's a variable name. And this style of naming or this convention of naming is called camel notation because, as you can notice here, it forms like a hump of a camel. That's why it is called camel notation. So it is not necessary for you to follow this convention, but Java's inbuilt classes follow this convention. So we will also follow the same approach. Now constant. If a variable is declared final, it becomes constant. It means its value cannot be changed. So in this statement, I have declared final in max is a sign method. So we have declared max as final. It means we are telling the compiler 100 is the final value of this variable. Now it cannot be changed or cannot be updated. If you try to change it, it would be a compile time error. And it is a convention to write constant name in all uppercase. It's just a convention to differentiate that it's a constant name. Now, values are called literals. For example, I have written int number is 25. In this statement, int is the data type, number is a variable, and 25 is a literal. Character ch is b. In this statement, character is data type, ch is a variable, b is a literal. String str is an bodacious itf. String is a class, str is a reference variable, and bodacious itf is a literal. Boolean passed is true. So boolean is a data type, passed is a variable, and true is a literal. So numeric and boolean type literals are written without quotes. Character literals are written in single quotes, and string type literals are written in double quotes. Now we come to expressions. An expression is a valid combination of operators and operands. If I write a plus b, so plus is an operator, a and b, these are operands. Now there are two types of expressions, constant expression and variable expression. If all of the operands are either constants or literals, it is called constant expression. Like in the first example, I have written 2 plus 3. So plus is an operator, 2 and 3, these are operands, and these are literals, 2 and 3 are literals, so it's a constant expression. In the third example, number is a constant, and I have written number plus 10 into 6. So these two are literals, and this is a constant, so it's a constant expression. And in an expression, if any of the operands is a variable, it becomes variable expression. Like in this example, 10 and 4, these are literals, but a is a variable, so this expression is a variable expression. Difference between these two is that constant expressions are evaluated at compile time and variable expressions are evaluated at runtime. Like if I write 2 plus 3 in a Java program, so it will be solved at compile time and the result 5 will be replaced in the class file. So in the class file, it will not write 2 plus 3, it will replace it with 5. And variable expressions are solved at runtime. It means when you compile your Java program in the class file, it will be written as it is, and this a plus b, this addition will take place at the runtime when you run your class file. Next topic is data type conversion. Suppose we have declared two variables. Int a is 25, double b is 3.14. Now you can assign a to b or b to a. Now there is a basic concept. when you write an assignment statement like this, so this is the source and this is the destination. For assignment, data types of source and destination must be same. If they are not same, then data type of source, then source will get converted to data type of destination and that will be assigned. So in this statement, destination's data type is double. So value of A will be converted to double. So 25 will be converted to double, so it will become 25.0 and that will be assigned to B. In this statement, B is assigned to A. So data type of destination is int. So value of double 3.14, it will be converted to int. So it will become 3 and that 3 will be assigned to A. Okay. Now size of int is 4 bytes and size of double is 8 bytes. So in this statement, we are assigning a smaller data type to larger data type. So when we assign a smaller data type to larger data type, it is called widening of data type. And in this statement, we are assigning 8 byte value to a 4 byte variable. So when we assign larger data type to smaller data type, it is called narrowing of data type. And narrowing of data type is not allowed in Java, so it's a compile time error. Reason compiler assumes that 8 byte value cannot be accommodated in 4 bytes variable or 4 bytes value cannot be accommodated in 2 bytes variable. So narrowing is not allowed. So to allow this statement, we will have to typecast it. So when we typecast it, compiler assumes that programmer is willingly converting this variable to int. So whatever happens is now concern of the programmer or its developer's responsibility. So your program will get compiled at runtime. If value of B is within the range of A, there will be no problem. If value is out of range, then result will be unpredictable as it is in C language. Okay, though it's predictable, but we call it unpredictable. So value of B will be assigned to A and it will display some negative value. It will be assigned some negative value. Okay. So typecast means conversion. So there are two types of typecast, implicit or explicit. In case of widening, value of A is being converted to double. So in case of widening, implicit typecast takes place and narrowing is not allowed. So to perform narrowing or to allow narrowing, we have to typecast it explicitly. Okay, so you have to keep it in mind that narrowing of data type is not allowed in Java. Your program will generate an error. Now we come to data types in Java. There are total 8 data types in Java: byte, short, int, long, float, double, character and boolean. These fundamental data types are also called primitive data types. And one more thing, in Java, all numeric data types are signed. It means leftmost bit is used to store signed bit. Okay, there is no unsigned keyword in Java. In C and C++ you find the keyword unsigned. Okay, but in Java there is no unsigned keyword. It means all numeric data types are signed, so they can hold negative values and positive values as well. Now we come to integer data types. So there are 4 data types that we can use to hold integer values. All of them are signed. Byte is the smallest data type. Its size is 1 byte and this is the range, -128 to 127. Short size is 2 bytes and this is the range of short data type. In Java, size of int is 4 bytes and this is the range of int data type. In Java, long size is 8 bytes and this is the range of the long data type. If you know size of data type, then you can calculate range using this formula. If size of data type is n bits, then range would be minus 2 raised to the power n minus 1 to positive 2 raised to the power n minus 1 minus 1. For example, size of byte data type is 8 bits. So formula would be minus 2 raised to the power 7 to positive 2 raised to the power 7 minus 1. And 2 raised to the power 7 is 128. So minus 128 to 127. Now, in a Java program, we have written these two statements. Int A is assigned 32, long B is assigned 32. Your program will get compiled and it will run. But what happens internally? In these two statements, A and B, these are variables and 32 is a literal. Now this data type int or long, these data types apply to variable. Data type of A is int and data type of B is long. But literals are also stored in primary memory. They also have a data type. So in Java, by default, int type literals, it means values without decimal point or without fractional part. Integer type literals are treated of type int. If you write in Java program, if you write 32, 25, 516. So these are treated int type literals. Excuse me. They are treated int type literals. So they will be stored in 4 bytes. So in this statement, we are assigning 4 bytes value to a 4 byte variable. And in this statement, we are assigning 4 bytes value to an 8 bytes variable. So this is an example of binding. And as we discussed, in case of binding, implicit typecast takes place. So at the runtime, this 4 bytes value will be converted to 8 bytes value. Then it will be assigned to long. So to improve the performance or to declare this literal as a long type literal, we can use the suffix L. So if you use the suffix L, this 32 will be considered as a long type literal and it will be allocated or it will be stored in 8 bytes. So at the runtime, there will be no need to convert it from 4 bytes value to 8 bytes value. So it will improve the performance. So to declare a literal as a long type literal, we use the suffix L, and uppercase L, lowercase l, both are allowed. You can write like this or you can write like this. So both are allowed. So it will just improve performance of your code. Now in a Java program, suppose if I have written in Java or C or C++, int number is assigned 10 plus 0, 1, 2. Now system.out print number, so output is going to be 20 because in this number 0, 1, 2, if you put a leading 0 in a number, then this literal is treated as an octal type number. So this 10 is a decimal number, this 0, 1, 2 is an octal number. So it will be converted to decimal number. So when we convert 0, 1 to decimal number, we will get 10. So 10 plus 10 is 20. So in this example, int A is 23. So if we write number like this without leading 0, it is treated as a decimal number. When we put a leading 0, like in this example 023, it will be treated as an octal number. If we write 0x, you can use x in uppercase or x in lowercase. So when we use a prefix 0x, it will be considered as an hexadecimal number. And 0b is used for binary. So 0b, this is the prefix used for declaring binary number, and 0100 means 4. If we display this variable, it will display the value 4. And int number is assigned 079. It's a compile time error because we have placed a leading 0, so it will be considered an octal number, and in an octal number, 9 is not allowed. In octal number, you can use digits from 0 to 7. So this is an invalid octal number, so it's a compile time error. Next is when you declare a variable in Java and you initialize it, its initializing value must be within the range of the data type, otherwise it would be a compiled error. Suppose I have written short number is 50,000 and range of short is 3 to 7, 6, minus 3 to up to 3 to 7, 6, 7. So this number 50,000 is out of range, so it will be a compiled error. It will not accept invalid value. Okay, so byte A is assigned 130. It's a compiled time error because the range of byte is up to 127. Byte B is assigned 120. This is valid because 120 is in the range of byte data type. But now there is an issue. As we discussed that narrowing of data type is not allowed in Java. And in these statements, 130, 120, these are int type filters. And we are assigning int type value to a byte type variable. So this is an example of narrowing, and we discussed that narrowing is not allowed in Java. So this is an exception. When we declare a byte short or char type variable and initialize it with a constant expression. Okay, and constant expressions are evaluated at compile time. So it will check at the compile time if value is within the range. If value is not within the range, then it will generate an error. If value is within the range, it will perform implicit typecast. Okay, so we discuss the examples again. Let's see at the first example. Byte A is at 130. So 130 is a constant expression. So it will be evaluated at compile time. So compile will consider that programmer is trying to assign a byte type variable with 130 and 130 is out of range, so it's a compile time error. In the second example, 120 is constant expression. So value will be determined at the compile time. So compiler will assume the programmer is assigning or programmer is initializing a byte type variable with 120 and 120 is within the range of byte, so it will perform implicit typecast. In the third example, int number is 120, byte C is number, and number is a variable expression, and variable expressions are evaluated at runtime. So what's the value of number? It will not be determined at the compile time. At the compiler will simply assume programmer is trying to initialize a 1 byte variable with a 4 bytes variable. So value might not be accommodated. So it will generate compile time error because value of number will not be determined at the compile time. Now we modify this example like this. Final int number is 120. Now number is a constant. Byte D is a number, so this is a constant expression because number is final, and constant expressions are evaluated at compile time and value is replaced. So numbers value will be determined at compile time. So the compiler will assume that programmer is initializing byte type variable with 120 and 120 is within the range of byte data type. So implicit typecast takes place. Okay. In the fifth example, byte is number 90 plus 20. Again, it's a constant expression. Both of the operands are literals. So its result, it will be solved at the compile time, and the result is 110. That is in the range of byte. So implicit typecast takes place. In the last example, again it is a constant expression. So it will be evaluated at the compile time, but its result is out of range. 140 is out of range, so it will be a compile time error. So here we have written, when we declare a byte, short and char type variable and initialize with a constant expression, if the initializing value is within the range of the data type, then implicit typecast takes place. Now we come to floating point data types. So there are two data types that we can use to store floating point numbers. Float, its size is 4 bytes, and this is the range of the float data type, and its precision is of 7 digits. And double occupies 8 bytes. This is the range of the double data type, and it stores value with approximately 7 digits of precision or 7 digits of accuracy. Now we have declared two variables a and b. Float a is 1.2, double b is 1.2. Now data type of a is float and data type of b is double, and 1.2 is a literal. So when we use decimal point, it's a floating point literal. And in Java, floating point literals are treated of type double. So data type of 1.2 is double, and double occupies 8 bytes. So in this statement, we are assigning 8 bytes value to an 8 bytes variable. No problem. In this statement, we are assigning 8 bytes value to a 4 bytes variable. It's a narrowing. Narrowing is not allowed. So compile time error. So if you write 1 in Java program, if you write 1, it's an int and it will occupy 4 bytes. If you write 1.0, it is double, it will occupy 8 bytes. So to overcome this problem, we need to declare this literal like this. Float a is 1.2f. So to declare a floating point literal as a float type literal, we use the suffix f. So you can write f in uppercase or in lowercase. Now 1.2 will be considered as a float type value. Okay. So there are three suffixes for data types, for literals: L for long, F for float, and D for double. So normally floating point literal is double by default. But suppose if I write like this, double A is 25. So in this example, 25 is of type int. So int is being assigned to a double type variable. So this is an example of writing. So implicit type class will take place. But if you want to improve performance, I will declare like this. So in this case, 25 will be declared, or it will be considered as a double type value. So we are assigning double type value to a double type variable. No conversion is required. So no implicit type class is required. So it will enhance the performance. Next data type is character. Size of character is 2 bytes. This is unsigned data type. There is no sign bit in the character data type. So its range is 0 to 2^16 minus 1. This is the range of the character data type. So a character type variable can be used to hold a single character. If I write character CH is B. Now CH is assigned star, so B will be overwritten. CH is assigned 5, so star will be overwritten. So at a time we can hold any single character. Now there is a basic concept. If I write character CH is assigned A, so internally the CH variable will store ASCII value, ASCII or Unicode values are same. ASCII value of A, now 65. And if I print this CH, it will display 65. Okay. So in a character variable, when you assign a character, internally its ASCII value is stored, and when you display that variable, corresponding character of that ASCII value will be displayed. So when we are displaying CH, so it will display A. Now CH plus plus, so value will become 66. If you display CH, now it will display B. Now it will display B because ASCII value has increased and it will become 66. So when you display CH, it will display corresponding character of 66, that is B. So you can write like this: character A is assigned 6 A, or character B is assigned 65. It means you can assign character, or you can directly assign its ASCII value. So we have written A in single quotes, so it will be considered a character and its ASCII value will be stored 65. Here we have specified an integer without single quotes, so it will be treated as an ASCII value and it will be stored as it is. It means 65. And when you display A or you display B, in both of the cases, value will be displayed A, the corresponding character of this ASCII value, so A will be displayed. If I write character CH is assigned to character D assigned to, so we have written 2 in single quotes, so it will be considered a character and its ASCII value 50 will be stored. And we display C, so corresponding character of 50, it means again 2 will be displayed. And if I write character B is assigned 2, so 2 is without quotes, so it will be considered as ASCII value. It is stored as it is. And when you display B, that character will be displayed whose ASCII value is 2. Okay, so I am using the word ASCII just to explain you, but Java uses Unicode to represent a character. Unicode stands for Universal Code. So Unicode represents a character in 2 bytes, so you get 16 bits. So a larger range of codes can be stored. ASCII code and Unicode values are same for English alphabets, digits, etc. Like for uppercase A, ASCII value is 64, 65, Unicode value is also 65. For lowercase a, ASCII code and Unicode both are 97. For 0, ASCII value and Unicode value both are 48. So they are same. Now the main thing that we discussed, that is in Java data type narrowing is not allowed and widening is allowed. So which data type is larger and which is smaller? This decision is taken according to range of the data type. So not according to size of the data type. If we consider long and float, long occupies 8 bytes, float occupies 4 bytes. But float will be considered larger because a float can represent a larger range of values. So if we are assigning long to float, it is widening. And if float type value is being assigned to long, it is narrowing. Okay. Now we take one more example. Short S is assigned 65, character CH is assigned 65. If you assign character to short or you assign short to character, both will generate compile time error because character and short, both size of both data type is 2 bytes. So size is same, but character is unsigned data type. So range of character data type is larger than short. So when we assign character to short, this is an example of narrowing. Narrowing is not allowed, so compile time error. And short to character assignment is also not allowed because short is a signed data type. It can hold negative values, and character type variable cannot accommodate negative values, so this is not allowed. In both of the case statements, you need to typecast. Okay, so short is a signed data type and character is unsigned. So range of character is between short and range. And the last data type is Boolean. A Boolean type variable is used to hold logical values either true or false. So in this statement we have declared two variables. Boolean check is false, pass is true. If you are using a Boolean type variable in a if condition, you can write the entire expression if pass equals true, or you can write like this also if passed. If value of passed will be true, the statement will be executed, otherwise it will be ignored. And we have not specified the size of Boolean because a Boolean type variable in primary memory it occupies 1 bit and in secondary memory it occupies 1 byte. So its size is not mentioned, or in the books you will find that size is inapplicable. Okay, thank you.